Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hi. Let me know who's here in chat. Glad to see you. Gonna be fun working on some tmux stuff today. Tmux all the things, all the time. That's how we do it. I'm still trying to decide on the music, though. We got a few choices. I feel like lo-fi always seems to be fine. I just hear this one a lot. I'm starting to hear the same music for so long. What's going on, Talia? New project. Well, we're going to revisit a current project, and you guys can maybe help me on stream decide what to dig into, but I just had a suggestion today that I thought might be fun to code. So quick repo cloning. We've been working on startup scripts for tmux, and that's been going okay. And there was a bit of a struggle last stream, but we got that all figured out. And so I think today we can make a lot faster progress there, which would be really good. So we can make this nice and big for you. I'm thinking that we could, as a user, as a developer, I want to quickly clone a repo and start a tmux session under that new project so that I can start working on my projects quickly, something like that. So that's my user story. Some ideas are just like create a var flag that accepts a GitHub URL or like username repo string. So it'd be like t-r/Josh Medeski/t. Right. So that's one idea. And then I'm also thinking add a config flag that, what does this do? Add a config flag that tells the, I don't really want to have to go to that directory. That's been kind of the whole point of this project, is that I don't have to CD into something in order to get to where I want to be. I should be able to just, let's brighten this up a little. How do I look? Should be able to get to it just by anywhere in the project that I want to call this. It should work. That tells me what directory to clone it. Use new config. So chat, maybe let me know, is this something that you would like to see me work on? Enhancement. So what we're working on right now, I don't think I have a project on, but maybe I could create one. Projects. Hi, default. Everybody defaults here. Projects. Link a project, new project. So what? Team planning, feature release. Can I like give a blank slate? I just want a board. So we'll just call this T development. People have been pretty quiet here, like on the actual video. People tend to say when they want something. People, like that's how it goes, right? Not really what I had in mind. Does it have to be its own thing? Well, yeah, so Night Flurry, the plugin works really well. Let's show it off if he's unfamiliar. So let's just kill tmux. Here's a brief overview of my plugin. It's got over 200, it has 260 stars now. That's awesome. We got 23 releases. We're on 2.7 right now. As a couple weeks ago, I did some downgrading to help onboard users easier. Yeah, so you literally type the letter T as a binary. You put this on your path, and it gives you a list of all of the projects you've ever worked with on your computer using a program called Zoxide. And you can type the thing you want. So like, I want to open up my tmux Smart Session Manager project. When I hit enter, it creates a session name based off of that project. So that gets automatically done. This is of course tmux. So my tmux status bar is at the top. I have some git statuses, and then I have a different plugin I've written that shows emojis for the windows. So these are tmux windows, and I can point to different ones. But yeah, it's basically just a fancy bash script that does a lot of conditional logic. And so if you use, I have a key binding. Let's turn on Keycaster today so you guys can see. Does this feel right? Yeah, that's right. So now if I hit Command K, it'll pull up a tmux pop-up, and I can type in any existing session, or I can open a new session with fuzzy finding. So I can say like, I want my invim. And so invim is where my dot files live for my neovim config. Or I want my tmux config. And so I can very quickly find the entry, and this is where my tmux config files live. Dude, Steve is here. Steve, you're here. You're on time. Glad to see you. So yeah, I mean, that's the plugin. It allows for switching between projects really quickly. You'll notice here that it's .files_config tmux. This is because the Git repository is .files, and so I have a special feature you can turn on. It's one of those hidden behind a feature flag, but if you turn this feature on, it'll generate your sessions based off of the root of the Git project. And so I do this a lot with projects at work. I have a mono repo, so that serves me really well there. And the way Zoxide works is the more you use it, the more it remembers things. And so if I literally just type in ERD, I know that nerd will always match to this project immediately with those 4 letters. And so it sort of prioritizes things over time, which is pretty sweet. But I can just kill tmux, no pressure, and I can do tsmart, and tsmart, I know smart will resolve to this project. And so there's a whole bunch of ways to enter this. But I think it would be fun to build a new feature today. We've been playing around with the startup script, and if you guys noticed, if I do tsmart, it starts up with neovim already opening, asking me what file I want, and that's kind of part of the feature that works as is. But I'm gonna be growing this feature, and I got to make some big decisions on breaking changes, and so there's a lot of thought there. And right before Christmas, I don't really think I want to make those kinds of bigger decisions on the project. So I think we're gonna have a quick win here and do something simpler. So I see about 10 of us are here. So if anyone doesn't speak up, I think we're gonna just tackle some of, oh, don't mind me, that was a firework. We're gonna probably do this quick repo cloning. I think this will be a fun and pretty intuitive feature to implement. So in tmux navigator, let's just talk about this. I was working on this project today, and I decided to fork it. And in forking it, I decided, hey, I'm gonna clone it. Dude, yes, Steve is talking. Lazy Git, let's do it. I can definitely make a Lazy Git video. Lazy Git's one of my favorites. And I appreciate the shout out. I think everyone that uses my plugin realizes that you can't really go back. Let's just say it that way. Like, it's so quick and effortless that, at least for me, and others have shared the same sentiment, that it's just really great. Anyway, so yeah, this is a great little plugin, but I decided I need to clone it. And if we think about the way that this works, the current workflow is go to browser, go to the folder, which in my case, it's repos. And this one I don't visit very much, so it's not very high on my list. But this is where all my projects live. And let's just remove it for now. And so then I have to clone it. And then in order for Vimium to work, I have to either CD into it and then Navigator. I could do something like that. The other entry point here is I can do something like, I could start the script up. I can switch to the find, and I can do repos in Vim tmux Navigator. So this is like a fallback command where you can run a custom find command on your project on my hard drive. I just have this bound to give me 2 layers deep of my home directory, which is really fast on this computer. And I know that repos are basically where I want to live all the time. And anyway, so then I can create this. Every time you make a selection here, for those that don't know, I do add it as a Zoxide entry. No matter how you go about entering, the session through this plugin. So we're always adding to the Zoxide registry every time we interact with it. But that was like 4 steps, and none of those steps were intuitive. None of those steps were quick. All of those steps felt like you had to kind of go out of your way to do it. And so I think that that's what I'm going to do. Now, the kind of the huge underlying problem with like making this feature developer friendly across all of the different places in which you might deal with this is, well, honestly, it's just some people get cloned, some people do the GHCLI. So I think I'm just going to have to decide what I want to do with that. Like, maybe I'll just make an MVP tonight, which we definitely have the time for that. I think in the next like 20 minutes, we can get this done. So we can play around with the proof of concept, and then we can see how to break it down to make it more configurable. So you guys can give me feedback. I guess feature flags help with this kind of stuff. Dude, hell yeah. Thanks, Garrett. Garrett's for the shout out from Twitter. So he's, you're enjoying my workflows. More to come, man. 2024 is going to be a lot of YouTube content, a whole lot of YouTube content. So be on the lookout for that. I realize that there's so much that I've done that most people don't even know about yet. So much more to come. I'm excited. Thanks for calling that out. And Henry, dude, my NeoVimConf talk. For those that don't know, you should go check it out. I spoke at NeoVimConf this year. I actually helped build the website. For those that don't know, that was fun. I helped build the website, did a lot of this. Boom, here I am, underrated square bracket. So this was a lot of fun. I had a good time with this. The talks will be up very soon. My talk is already live. So if you want to watch, how do we get to my video? Get to my video. It was a good time. Feels familiar, right? If I feel real, it's like there's Inception right here. Hold on. There's a little bit of Inception in that it's the same workflow. I think it looks nice, so I'm kind of sticking to it. I appreciate it, Henry. Feel free to hang out if you got the time. All right, let's build a feature. Let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do we still have repos open? We do. This is awful. Do you guys find this annoying? I find this super annoying. Let's put this like here. And maybe we'll make it smaller. It was really great for the conference, but I don't think you guys need that much. There we go. Is there like timer delay, line break delay. We'll make it longer. All right, cool. So let's see, did I RMRF? Yeah. So we're going to work on the project. We're going to do a quick branch. So we're going to say repo flag. And basically, if the command is H, we're going to do that. So we'll create a new one here and we'll do to do if R flag. Let's mark that A. Let's mark this B. Let's go there. Phi. So now it's going to be one of those, if it's repo, then do thing. Let's be more specific. Comfy UI Manager. Look at this. Someone's mentioning I did do a recent PR in that space. So I did some UI updates to the Comfy UI Manager. I want to do a lot more UI updates to that thing, but it is very procedural JavaScript-y kind of thing, and I kind of want to like bring Svelte or I don't know, some sort of simple modern tooling to that tool, but we'll see. I could also recreate it. Maybe I just become a Comfy UI dev, but yeah, interesting, wild. So you're a Comfy UI guy too. I love it. Like 3 weeks ago or so, like a month ago, we live streamed a Comfy UI API application where we used the new SDXL Fast model, and we generated a little like web page that you put in a text and Comfy UI gets triggered and then it sends an image back, and that was really fun. So it's not officially published anywhere, but oh, you were hanging out. Yeah, it was fun. It was really fast. It was like crazy fast. I'm gonna probably buy a computer. Let's see, grab URL. We're gonna grab URL. I'm gonna buy a new PC with a good graphics card so that I can do a lot more of that work. Yeah, so Night Fury, you're asking a good question. Yeah, man, so make sure that in your dot files under your, wherever you're configuring this, you need to set use get root, and if you set use get root to true, then it's going to grab it from wherever the Git repository starts, will scaffold out the session name. And of course, if you're using like the root of the Git repository, it will be just one name, right? It'll just be a single thing. But yeah, that's how it works. So we're going to grab the URL, we're going to clone, we're going to and then use as result to create a session and attach. I mean, that's all this feature is. Part of me is thinking, do I even need an R flag? Like if we just did like T and then GitHub, if we did like that, I mean, technically it would work. And I wouldn't even do that. I don't know if you guys know, but I do this a lot. I do PB paste. So it's literally in my clipboard. And then I'm going to go, oh, hey, I'm going to paste this in. And if I did this, I would probably fish alias to TP. And then it's literally just TP enter and boom, it would immediately clone the repo and create a new tmux session like immediately, like instantly. So that's kind of the idea. By the way, this was actually pretty cool. There is a tmux session manager in Raycast, as a side note. So I've even been thinking about in influencing my workflow to use Raycast more, so that when I'm like not in tmux, I can still, or not when I'm not focused on the terminal, I can still do a lot of useful things here. So that's another idea that might work. But that's probably for another time. That's probably not for today. So I think I'll just always grab the clone. Check this out, Steve. So if I do Vim, it changes the session and refocuses the terminal. So I can be somewhere else and I can say that I want that session, and it switches back to the terminal and activates that session. So pretty wild. I'm a fan of it so far. But I'm not using it that much because I use Alt-A. So Alt-A is my way of toggling WES-term. So if I hit Option A, it focuses WES-term. If I do it again, it toggles it. But yeah, man, check it out. I have it bound to Alt-Shift-A. And so the shift is like a modifier that gives me a secondary action on the terminal. So that's how I do it. So let's do it. So the URL is going to give me an argument. So I want to get value after -r, right? And that's the second argument. And then I want to say throw if no value after r. And it's not a throw, right? It's just an exit code. No repository provided. No repository URL provided. Validate URL. So, come on, Copilot. Why is Copilot doing this? That's funny. Here's the Stack Overflow. Okay. What's up, Jersey? Jersey's here, everybody. So, Steve, you're the Raycast guy. I'm going to make a Raycast video on this soon, but like I hit Alt-A. If you hit it a second time, it hides the thing. So I do it with W as well. So I may like Alt-W do thing, Alt-W close thing. So you can actually toggle your windows by repeating the same action. It's incredibly helpful. Like if I see what's open, I can do a thing and then toggle it and then do another thing. And so it's become a really common practice for me. Can I repo URL? Come on, what the heck? What is this? This is so dumb. Look at this. Why is there no centralized authorization solution product? Why the hell does it give me this Stack Overflow? All right, so validate a GitHub repo URL. Yeah, this is all I wanted. Again, we're just going to kind of do some procedural stuff here. It is bashing, so let's do that. Invalid. Let's echo exit 1. How do I invert this conditional? Bang, right at the beginning. That seems right. All right, so we're going to throw if it doesn't exist. And then we're going to validate that it's a valid URL, and then I could just like start with the GH. Can I do that? Can I GH clone repo clone? Nope, that's gonna be bad. Chris, give me a full path. Oh, sweet. Okay, so GitHub use. So the clone is just going to be GH. What do we say? GH clone repo, repo clone, repo clone, repo URL in the directory. So that's the part that's a little bit weird. I need to like cd into repos. And this is the part where you're going to have to tell us where. Yeah, Steve, you're absolutely right. Like one screen for me, just one single screen. All right, so then this is where, let's just remark this A, and then I'm using marks a lot more now, by the way, especially for streaming. So if I go anywhere in the project and I just explore and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, then I can just go right back to A instantly. I tend to go A, B, C. That's kind of my way of thinking about it. So I want to do get root. So I'm going to basically have this thing. Check if exists. If it's not use session, it's going to be t repos dir. If we've been doing a lot of -c's, haven't we? Z means it doesn't exist. If doesn't exist. All right, so then that's not it. So it's not if it doesn't exist. It's just if it doesn't exist, then I do want to throw. So then that's just a quick echo. Has not been set. And then otherwise we're going to cd into that. And then we're going to clone the thing. And then based off of the path, my question is like, upstream help directory get flags. I want to cd into the thing I just made. So I may be able to. How are we doing on time? We're doing good. All right. So how about we grab. It's one of those things that the repo URL is good for getting started, but the actual username and password split get a repo URL. into owner and repo. Yeah. So it's going to be, no, I'm using a studio mic. Do I sound bad or you're just curious? Yeah, yeah, you can hear me. That's a USB microphone. You want to see? There you go. This guy here. I should sound way better with this. Yeah. Yeah. You want to see what happens? Brijesh? I don't know how to say your name, but that's my best guess. Watch what happens. You guys are gonna hate this. This is my AirPods, so it should sound much different. Um, yeah, much different. So we're gonna go back to the podcast microphone. I don't know if I have it listed on my website. Yeah, but it should bridge. Okay, bridge. It should sound way different. But yeah, this is a nice. I still sound nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Jersey. Yeah, AirPod. I'm not convinced there's any good Bluetooth headphone that has a decent microphone. I think it's just I've actually done research on it, and to make audio travel through Bluetooth frequencies is not doing it any justice. So we're about to get to the next step, but Wild has a good question about me moving from UX. So I went to school for graphic design, and so I thought I was really good at Photoshop in high school, and I like drawing, and I'm a very creative person, and so that's the path I went. And I always liked computers. I was like in my calculator during high school math class. I would like program my calculator to do my answers for me, which was kind of fun. And I had like Palm Pilots before iPhones were out, like things like that. Like the iPhone came out when I was in high school, so that ages me. But and so I was kind of always nerdy as well as being, or kind of geeky, I guess, as well as being someone who was creative. And so I ended up teaching myself programming after college. So I became a graphic designer. I did those kinds of things. I made brochures and website design and things like that. And then it naturally sort of website design became, how do I do other things? Like how do I tweak this part of the web page or design this myself or do the work? A lot of WordPress work at first. And then I just found that I kind of caught a bug for coding. I ended up teaching at a coding boot camp a few times over my career. And yeah, so just a lot of hard work brought me here, and some good mentors along the way. But dude, Palm Pilots, let's go. I don't have any of my old Palm Pilots anymore. At some point I recycled them or gave them away or something, but I loved Palm Pilots. Now we've got these freaking things. This is an iPad Pro. Holy smokes. Like, did we ever think we would be here with a 12-inch tablet and like a perfect like Apple Pencil? I know it's not perfect, but this is an incredible piece of technology compared to my Palm Pilots in high school. Very, very different. So I appreciate that question. That was an interesting one. All right, so we're going to split this up. I don't know the best way to do this. How to split the GitHub URL into owner and repo. So we're basically just going to do like a simple match. Is it just, how does this bash rematch work? Interesting. So when we do the bash assertion, this is an available tool for us. Nice jersey. Nice. Steve, you're telling the right stories. So I got another story. So in high school, no, was it high school? Yeah. In high school, I grew up like middle class, like lower middle class. We didn't have a lot of money, and there was a lot of kids in the house. So I ended up asking for only a Palm Pilot. I was like, Mom and Dad, I don't want anything else for Christmas but a Palm Pilot. Like, that's all I want. And so they were able to scrounge enough money together to get me one present, which was a Palm Pilot. So good times for sure. Good times. I gotta mix up the stream, right? You gotta make things interesting. Yeah, so that was a good year. That was a good year for Christmas. Yeah, they were good parents. They did their best with what they had. All right, so let's do what we were talking about. Let's just go here, and this was, I guess it's gonna be one of those things that I have to go back to what I was doing. I guess, else it's invalid. And so it's one of those things that, like, now all of this lives inside of that. And then if there's no repo, then exit. We're going to CD into it. And then this guy says that we should be able to get a bash match on the regular expression here. So I'm going to kind of do one of these things where we exit 0. And we're going to echo cd that, and then echo clone repo URL, and then result is repo. So, I mean, this is where we're at. So if I just go back to my repos and I do what we were talking about, R pb paste. Is it still on the top of my clipboard? No, it's not. Come on. Oh, I can't delete inside quotes. That sucks. All right, bb paste. Oh, yes, that's correct. You're absolutely right. So, T repos dir is repos. That's right. Let's see. So this is going to be annoying. If I get an exit code, it won't save it to my history. That's it. Let's go. That's it. Merry Christmas. So now we just need to run it. I mean, just putting this all together, the feature should work. So, smart. Let's go back. So now we cd into that. We clone to that. And then result gets changed. So the question now is the whole sed replacer thing. To me, I know this code pretty well. I have written most of it, right? So to me, I want to like run it. This is one of those things that like I need to start organizing this binary script better. Like I need it to be more organized than it is, because it's going to be one of those things that when we want to do a sort of change in the procedural result here, like this, right? It's like, well, we're going to set result. So result can be stored here or here or here. And if an argument is passed, then we do this. But I don't want to do this at all if I use the -r flag. That's kind of where I've landed lately, where it's like, no, I don't even want to do this anymore. So getting to the final step here is probably the hardest part, because we basically want to do make repo result to start the session. So it's one of those things that, like, down here in this section, maybe I just move it, and inside here I have like a function, and the function returns. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Rather than doing it procedurally here, maybe we wrap this in this part here. Maybe we wrap this part in a function, and then we just make a function call. Breeze, you got your first computer? Oh, dude. That's a pretty good computer for back then. I don't know how far back we have to go, but that's not too bad. I started with Windows. I'm now a hardcore Mac guy, but I definitely started with Windows. All right, so let's just make a decision here. The result means that I'm going to turn this thing into, so the other thing I could do with that is this part of the result. So it's like, it's getting pretty complicated here, where it's like, if it's a get root thing, then it does a certain thing, and then if it's a this is just session creation. So I would think everything below that so session gets created at some point. I just have to move this. I think if I just move the logic, let's go back. By the way, chat, underrated square bracket. If I don't even know where I am, I just want to get to the get hunk, I can do angle bracket G, and it puts me right where the where I need to be. So it's one of those things that, yeah, okay, this works. Fuzzy prompt, get fuzzy binding. These are all just functions, and then I set the Zoxide, and then Zoxide looks here. And we decide on the result. This part here decides on the result. Argument provided. If the argument that is provided is repo, then it can do all of that. Else it can do the rest. Is that going to be enough? That kind of goes here, and this goes here. So, I mean, we're nesting. Granted, I get it. We're nesting. Nesting isn't great. That's why I was talking about making this all one function, because then we could just pass an argument to the function, and it could return. But if I throw an exit code on a function, is it going to exit the whole process, or is it going to exit a sub-process? I guess we'll see if it works first, and then we'll refactor later. So then that becomes result equals the repo. And it won't exit. It'll just continue past the else statement. Let's see. Let's say not R or repo, and do that. Yeah. That feels good. I also Hey, man, happy holidays, Steve. Steve's heading out. Good to see you, man. Hope you have a good one. Thanks for coming in. You got here early. You lasted a whole 45 minutes. All right, so we've moved the code. This should be sufficient. Because the help thing was a little bit misleading, because I'm not really worried about the help. The help flag being at the top of the file was just for that specific reason. So now we test it. This is the drum roll. Steve is leaving, but we are going to make this work. So if I run this, it should. Well, let's put this on the top of our Chris Toomey. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, I need this to be at the top of my clipboard. And it opens up that. Why did that happen? It skipped? Did it skip? What happened? Why did it do that? It should have thrown an exit code if something went wrong. I think we may just do that for now. I guess we want, like, to throw an exit. Yeah, so it's not honoring that. Is my if statement valid? If, else, if, else. Yeah, so that's right. If argument is echo. Oh, weird. It's like, it's just triggering the pop-up. So here's this B is replacer, prompts, bindings. Gonna check for the argument. Is it one of those things that, like, gonna check for the argument? And then what if we argument not provided? Argument not provided. So it doesn't see the argument. So if it doesn't see the argument, then that means this statement isn't enough. Oh, equals 1. Duh. It will be equaling to 2 because we're going to be passing the R and we're going to be passing 2. So it's the question now is, do we separate it, or do we do an else if. So I want to change this bash to if has one or more arguments. That's all that I need to do, greater than or equal to. There we go. So then that should -r, gonna clone repo. Okay. This is it. This is our drum roll. This should work. I mean, there's no reason why it won't work, but other than us having to debug more. But let's try it out. So we got cloning. That's it. Feature done. That's all we had to do. That's all we had to do, chat. That's all we had to do. So that's the feature. I mean, I guess it's not even that many lines of code. We'll commit it. We'll commit it, and we'll think about if anything needs to be changed. But that's a cool little feature. That's a very cool little feature. And maybe I'll do like TR or TP. I can't decide. Maybe I'll do TR. That is super dope. Okay, let's do it. Let's dive right back in. So, argument not provided. That's funny. Okay, so I don't want to exit, so that needs to go away. And then this needs to be feature add -r flag to quickly to clone repo and start. Rad, totally rad. Let's go ahead and push this just in case. I don't want anything to go wrong. What are you talking about, Jersey? What is this toilet paper rant? I don't understand. We also need to add to the README. README. How to use, how to customize. You're just being silly, huh? How to use extra features. Sure. Cloning new repos. You can quickly clone a repository to your preferred directory using the T command combined with the R flag or repo. First, you have to set the look at this, look at this. And so we're gonna say, this is one of those things that like C shell bash C shells, yeah, sure. Is it repodir? What is it? Repodir? What do we call it? Reposter? Repos, something like that. Make sure make sure to set it where you want your repositories cloned. I might turn off, this is getting a bit distracting. I don't know if you guys have been overwhelmed by it. Key commands only. You don't need to see every letter I type shown on the screen, do you? All right, so then that's going to be repos, repos, I did this. What did I end up doing? All my dot files. I ended up doing this. In order to use the feature, simply run t-r and then I don't know, like that. Let's put that outside. Make sure I don't break anything as we do this. tr, I prefer to copy the repository URL to my clipboard and run the following command on Mac OS. Let's see, we're going to do t-r pb paste. I guess I'll do this again. Okay, so that's fish. And then this is gonna be bash and Z shell. And let's see, we got our line breaks here. And this guy needs a $sign. This is like the most fun part about developing open source, right? You gotta give clear instructions. All right, so feature add instructions for our flag on README. Close this number, quick repo cloning, right? 94? 94? So we'll probably do a sanity check. I don't mind doing a release tonight. It'd be a fun little pre-Christmas thing to get people to do it. If anyone wants to look at the source code, feel free to take a glance. Feel free to give I tend to give myself a code review. I appreciate code review, but I don't have anyone in my life right now that I can trust to do bash specific code review. But if you guys are bash people, please give me some feedback. We've got, 10 people here watching. So if one of you want to give me a review, feel free to. All right, so let's see. You can quickly clone, combine with the R flag. First, you have to set that variable on your shell. Make sure to do that. Repos dir, C shell, repos, fish. Yes. In order to use the feature, simply run this. Yep. I prefer to copy the URL to my clipboard and run the following command on macOS. Yeah, pb paste or pb paste. Yep. And I'll do you guys one more. Check this out. So we go directly to my fish config, ABBR, and what? ABBRP, PB, oh no, not P, ABBRT. We have a few things. I'm not really using that one anymore. TA, TR for repository. I haven't used this one in a while. I don't even have TLDR installed anymore. So I could, I think we decided TP. You were just joking about TP. So we went 2D-R. Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time on Bash with this project, so I've learned a lot here, and I like Bash scripts. I have quite a few now that have served me well. TP. All right, let's go. I'll let you guys sneak into my life here. What is going to show up on my home? Olama. Ooh, yes, everybody loves Olama. Look, I've already seen that one. Trending repositories. Let's just go there. Jersey, feel free to ask questions about fish, man. I've been using fish for many years now. Repositories, language, range this week. What is popular? Awesome Python. Oh, I do have something I can do. So let's just do tmux list. This is a list. We want to fork it, and we want to add my Smart Session Manager and my Nerd plugin. Open. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's look at that. All right, so let's fork it. And call it tmux list. I'm just going to kind of see this in action. We're going to copy it. We're going to go back here. We're going to TP. That's so quick. It's so freaking immediate. It's just like the moment that you want to do it, it happens, and it does exactly what you want. Ugh, that feels really good. All right, so let's make sure everything else keeps working. Well, we've been using it. It's been working. So I'm not so concerned about that kind of stuff. But let's general copy mode navigation sessions. I don't know if it's big of me to smart put my own spin on it. Do I just copy this guy? It's kind of redundant, and I get it. I could have come up with a better name. Manage tmux sessions in a smart way with Zoxide. Other people have come up with this idea, and I don't think I'm actually even the very first one to come up with this, but I think I know this person, possibly. Or I know of this person. I've definitely seen this. Yeah, see, inspiration. So other people are taking inspiration from me and coming up with similar projects, which is fine. There's plenty of room in the open source community. I guess I need to, as I realize that I'm doing all of this, let's see. I'll get to your question here in a second, Jersey. GH CLI. Have I not visited it? All right. Docs, mention. All right, let's see. Did you ask the question yet? I see. So you've gotten some. If you want to ask specific questions, you can while we're hanging out tonight. But so you tried using it and some things weren't working for you. I get that. It can be tricky to set it up sometimes, especially if you have certain tooling that's important to your workflow. Okay, so let's go back to this list. Sessions, themes. It's not really a theme. It's more of a general feature. So I guess this is going to be sorted alphabetically. Does that mean mine is last or first? I feel like mine should be first because it starts with T. Let's just go ahead and put this here. So that is Navigator. Go back here. We have my nerd font window name. Oh, let's go ahead and copy that and copy that. And we'll figure out what is tmux nerd. Oh, that's interesting. It's supposed to be a Git repo, but when I hit Command G, it says not in the Git repository. So what's that about? Oh, binary, you had some trouble? So let's see. I just found out we got a bug, so we're gonna have to fix it. Colors. This is how I did it. Binary, if you're curious, I went ahead and looked at, I don't use the GUI, I just went in here and I said, hey, set these variables to gray, normal, red, cyan, and it uses the 16-bit, or I think in this case it's just 8-bit, but the 8-bit colors that are defined in the terminal get honored when you set it this way. So that was useful to me. Maybe it'll be useful to you. Colors. So that is this guy, binary. And then if you want like general recommendations, Jersey, all I'll say is like when setting environmental variables, it's done slightly differently. So you just have to learn the flags. There are certain flags like the -u flag. So it's good to know and understand how that works. It has its own plugin system, so you can install plugins, although I don't have very many. And so just something to think about as you're introducing a different shell. There's a couple very minor things about the syntax of bash commands, like when we were looking at running, a subshell to execute something, you have to drop in fish, you have to drop the $sign. So little things like that pop up here and there. But overall, I found that it works really well. All right, so that did not work, chat. The fact that this is the correct path, when I hit Command G, it doesn't think it's a list. I don't know why that is. No. All right, so let's just kill this. Let's go back to tmux list, and it works. So we're going to say Josh's plugins. And we're going to nerd font window name. Oh, I can't submit all this. I've got a linter. My linter wants to all right, so feature add Josh Medeski's tmux plugins. Oh, shoot. I don't want to assign it to... Dang, I gotta change this. So get remote. Get remote. Remove origin. Yeah. So that's going to be a problem for me. Repos, recent. It's one of those things now that I'm going to have to go into here and get the SSH. Get remote, add origin. Look at that, PB paste. All right, so then that's going to be an issue. It's quicker if I can copy what I have. Let's get rid of this. If I can copy it. Binary, I totally get what you mean, man. You were talking about colors. Like, yeah, but with shell stuff, I like using a 16-bit color system. It makes it really simple. I just think Oh My Zish is slow. It sounds like you're not a big fan of it either. All of the features, the reason most people switch to Fish, and I have a whole blog post about it, is all the features that you like put into ZSH as like plugins to like make it a way better experience are built-in features on Fish, like autocomplete. Like just autocomplete alone. It's like you have to install a ZSH plugin to get autocomplete, but with Fish, it's a built-in feature. So it's incredibly fast. I have, let's just like one Mississippi. Like it's a fraction of a second that it boots up. Like I would say like 200 or 300 milliseconds Fish is running. So that's kind of the power. That's for sure the power in this. Adding my plugins to the list. Let's see if that's fine. Cool. So that thing exists. I bet you that could be one reason why. We could go ahead and take this guy, SSH, copy. We might as well just Josh, search, Fish, why I switched. There you go, sir. We gotta add dark mode to my site, don't we? I've had it in the past, but I don't now. All right, let's try this again. So we're gonna just kill. We just kill tmux, it's fine. And we're gonna z repos. And on repos, we're gonna tmux lists. Remove that. T repo. Actually, it's TP, right? Oh, interesting. Let's just go ahead and kill that. We'll start this back up again. And we will TP. Ah, funny. Now this whole thing is going to be busted because I need SSH. We were just talking, for those that have been with me since the beginning, we were talking about this. We were talking about, do you use the SSH keys? Do you not? Do you use URLs? Do you use, like, what do you use? And so I now need to work. I bet. Oh, that's interesting. That's a mark. Those are marks. How cool is that? ABC, those are marks that I set. We were wondering what that was earlier. All right, I digress. Let's go ahead and... I know some of you don't like that font. Let's change it up. Way up here, right on the argument. We clone the thing based off of this. So can I just simplify this down to is this going to be enough? Because if that's enough, then I'm good to move forward. Yeah, that might be enough. So now if we TP, it's invalid. Is it invalid? Yes. Change this bash line to accept get, or I guess we'll just kind of put this out of the way. We will say we want that or that. GitHub repo formats. Please and thank you. Let's see how well it knows how to adjust. I guess we can just do a different regular expression. Sure. So both of these are valid. Yeah, sure. That's a simple regular expression that just swaps it out. So then that means on our repos, it still thinks it's invalid. Oh, because the URL changed. God, this is the worst. I gotta keep. Okay, so get at github.com colon or github at github.com slash, is it just missing the, I think it's missing that. Does one have a slash? So everything past that, this is not going to be as good as I thought it was. All right, so let's just do a quick regex tester. Is there like a NeoVim regex tester there's a reg explainer. Does anyone have a good regular expression neovim tool? Because I would love to just use that. No, Spectre's a search and replace thing. All right, so let's just regex tester. All right, so step 1, enter your regular expression. Step 2, enter your repos. Starting line must be escaped by backslashes. What must be? Do I don't need to escape these, do I? Ah, but yeah, look, that doesn't match. com/: get at github.com : oh, but it won't match the rest because that's a dumb expression. All right, so path or URL. It's claiming that this is right, but I don't think it is. Get at github.com. Is it one of those things that it's like, or that? You're probably right. But then the match is, you're here. Hey, Ian's here, everybody. I messaged you, Ian. You didn't message me back. I was going to let you come on stream today if you wanted to. But like literally be on stream if you want. We want to hear your sexy Scottish voice or Irish voice. I forget which country you're from. Sorry. So this is not right. This is wrong. Australian. I'm so off. I guessed the other side of the pond, and I didn't guess far enough. We've only talked once, though, and that was months ago, so you gotta give me a little slack. I don't want to do regular expression. Look at that. I haven't been to Stack Overflow in a while. ls remote, the URL to test. But I still have to capture it. I still have to capture it. So it's not going to be enough. I guess I can finesse with this until it's right. All right, so my first non-capture group is, you're saying that I should make it the whole thing. I guess there'll be a little bit of redundancy, but it won't be the end of the world. And it'll be : or https at github@github.com. Do I have to escape this too? Come on. My fingers are fudgy. All right, assert position, start of line. Non-capture group. I forget what this first part, oh, that's just a non-capture group. Git@github.com, or https why? And then the capture group after. I don't need that capture group, right? And then that's looking snazzy. So then I need to figure out why this capture group is not playing nice. GitHub : https. I'm so close here. Oh, fair enough. Do I not need that? Oh, I guess you're just ignoring it. Yeah, that's fine. Capture group. Not equaling to get. So that's fine. Technically, I only need this guy. But I need to match https://github.com. Anyone? What's up, Pone? Pone's here, everybody. What is this? Why is my string here not good? Is there something I need to add? Try without the colon escape? How about we say fix this to cap, fix this regular expression. Multi-line, but it's supposed to. I thought this tool let me give as many line breaks as I want. So you're saying I need to list? I don't know. I could just run this and see what happens. But why can't I test multiple? I've used this tool before. Unit tests. Give the string does not match. Insert test string does match. Enter test string does match, but it did not. Okay. Yeah, this is all right. This is fine. It's one of those things that it's going to end up working for me. By the way, Ian, this is like done. The feature's done. I'm just trying to make it work between get SSH and get URLs. https://github.com/ Yeah, how do I do that? Anything up to not. But I have to capture. I don't know how to do that. I'm just not great at this. I just need it to match the URL up to this third slash. At the first plus? Oh, I see. Like here? No. Ugh. Because I see this one is matches the previous token between 1 and unlimited times. So it's like a lazy method for capturing. It still doesn't work. This, am I going to be able to copy this successfully? I don't know if my copy tool is going to. If that plus question mark, that's what I have here now, isn't it? It still doesn't honor it. I feel like we need to go to GPT-4. Maybe GPT-4 knows this, but I seem to not. I feel like there's a way to move backwards. That is actually pretty clever. Look at that. You rephrase the question. Remove the second or third group. Yeah, but maybe just a simpler regular expression. Where I say, get me, I don't need anything but the last group, so work backwards. That's valid. That's totally valid and simplifies the expression quite a bit. Put it in a replace the oh, so you're done. So it's just a not equals to that, right? I'm fine with that for now if it's gonna take these two cases into account. All right, so then that means, do I still have repos? I do. This is going to clone it, add it, and I still run into this lazy git not knowing that it's a repo. And that's the weird part. But if I close it and I tmux list it, it does know that it's a git session. Is there a delay in git creation and the project honoring it as a git project? That's my only thought. All right, let's just go ahead and smart fix support for both SSH and HTTP repo URLs. Well, Ian, that's what we ended up doing, is making a simpler approach. Simple is better anyway. If this works, then why go the more complicated path? So I clone it, but I don't wait to move forward until this is done, and then I assign it to a result, and then the result gets passed off very quickly to the session creation. So it's a reasonable thing what you just said. Tmux list, git clone, oh nope, t repo. All right, so let's watch. It's going to clone, create thing, and we can see here how to get root path of current tmux session. So we can do something like that. I don't want current path. I want like, yeah, that's fine. Get status. So do we create an arbitrary delay? Well, the only thing, Ian, right now is I don't get clone. For now, I GH clone. So I prefer GH. So I'm gonna have to support that as well, I think. So this clones, the result is valid. The session that gets created is also valid, and the directory is valid, and it's a Git project. But you can see here that the tmux gitmux project isn't detecting that it's a Git repository either. So clearly there's something wrong. Why would that be? So, because gitmux is always running. Gitmux is always trying to be a thing again. If that makes sense. Like gitmux is always going to keep reaching to say, is this a Git repo? Is this a Git repo? Is this a Git repo? And when we look at this directory, it is. So my only thought right now is that the result that I assign is it needs to be a path. It needs to be a path. I mean, it just needs to be, can I just double quote it? That's why. Now, is it going to be converted back later? It should be converted back. I take the result. The Zoxide result is, yeah, so we'll test it. I don't know if it's going to work. Someone gave me a tip last stream that was helpful, though. I might use it. All right, so let's go here and let's mark A. Oh, that's interesting. It changed the mark. Exit 1, echo results. I guess we'll just close this again. Remove that. TR. Ha. I know. .get. That's valid. All right. So that's interesting that is it converting it for me? That's probably what it was, chat. Let's run this again. Oh, no, why do I want to keep doing to me? All right. Oh, because that's the only one that's been valid. That was it. So it was creating it was only doing it, I guess, circumstantially. So smart fix, we're going to fix it by making the results the full path. Well, is inside work tree, I heard, is pretty good. It wasn't a .get. It wasn't the .get thing. It was that the session was just being named. It was being created off of a name. It wasn't being created with a proper path being identified in the creation of the tmux session. And so it was like, yeah, it's just, that's the name of the session, rather than saying this is the session and it should be tied to this place. So that's it. The feature is decent. I don't know if I need a separate flag for git clone versus git repo clone. I feel like most people are going to want git clone. So what, do we adjust it? What do you guys think? Ian's pretty vocal here, but does anyone else have thoughts on what they would like to see with this repos? Like prefer GH? And like you enable this. What I'm also thinking could work is just a simple if GH binary exists I'm not mad at that. That's not a big deal. I guess we need to test it, or I need other people to test it and give me some feedback if the feature doesn't work as expected. Well, so Ian, I mean, I'm down for supporting everybody on the same project, like a simple source of truth on the repository, on the plugin. So like if you want to modify something but make a PR, I do recommend it. That is totally fair. If just because we have the GH library doesn't mean it's a GH. So what would you want? I don't know if the GH binary works with... I thought the GH binary was just a wrapper. So repo manages repositories. Clones a repository locally. I mean, you could try it. You could try it and see if it works, or if it doesn't work, we can extend this to do something more. Only run GH clone if it is detected. Yeah, but pull requests isn't really, this feature anyway is tied to creation or cloning. So I wouldn't think it's as big a deal. At least that's my thoughts. All right, well, it's a couple hours now. We got through some edge cases. We got the basics of the feature working. So part of me wants to do another code review on myself. At some point I will probably be setting up unit tests. We didn't talk about it much. At the beginning I mentioned it, maybe very briefly, but I would love to add unit tests. So if someone knows of if one of these unit testing frameworks is good for Bash or know of a different one, I think inside GitHub Actions, I want to do some basic assertions to make sure that I don't introduce regressions. That's kind of the big thing, is I don't want to like manually test this every time I ship it. That would be a pain. That would be a pain. So I wasn't really interested in having to repeat myself, which is, you know, any good dev. All right, so here's the repo, here's the PR. Extra features, cloning repositories. You can quickly clone it by doing this. Requires, oh, it doesn't require the GH CLI anymore. So readme, I guess we'll just say feature drop GH flag as it isn't required. As it is optional. What do I need from Nix, Cow? What do I need from Nix? I don't know. Do you want more Nix? Like, do you want Nix to be explained here better? Because we definitely could include it in the README. I'm not sure what you mean by the question, unfortunately. All right. So you set the dir. in order to use the feature, simply run this. Yeah, and so unfortunately for now, it has to be a valid, what is it? Get remote URL ending in .get order to work. Docs note .get URLs are only valid. Yeah, Cal, I mean, it's open source project, man, so feel free to fork it, clone it, mess with it. You don't need anything in particular. Nix is like an operating system, right? Or it's like a package management solution as well. So we could explain, instead of not brew install, there's a tmux plugin. It's using the tmux plugin manager, so there wouldn't be any need to do anything differently in Nix because you're using the tmux plugin manager. You're not using a standardized package manager. So I don't think there's any special instructions here. I think it's just going to work. Now, at the beginning, I do mention this, brew install, blah, 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 blah. Use the package manager of your OS if you are not on Mac OS. So I was a little bit of a shortcut here. But if you want to, we could say, do it this way with Nix and do it that way with Mac OS. Like I could separate those. So feel free to open a PR. Especially documentation related PRs, I'll probably merge quickly. There are a couple open PRs right now. There's 3 that I hope to get merged soon. All right, so we shifted this, and if we said it was greater than 1, then if the repo flag was used, if we don't have the URL, then we throw. And if we don't get a match, we throw. And if we see the GH, then we clone it. I need to actually test that. I haven't tested it. All right, so let's tmux list. Let's close this. Let's go z repos and t-r. I mean, the feature worked. Did it use GitHub? I don't know. Again, I think it's a wrapper, Ian. If you're still hanging out with us, I think it's a wrapper, so I don't think it really matters if which one's used. Invalid GitHub repo URL. I guess I could drop that condition altogether if it doesn't matter. Maybe I do. If I know that it's, like you said, the whole complexity of it all. Yeah, but I'd rather it just work. I don't need you to have to go out of your way to change it. If it's going to work for everybody, that's better, isn't it? So feature drop GH condition. Yeah, so that config lives. It's called t-repos dir, and you have to set that. I can't just clone it anywhere you want. I need to be able to clone it based off of the directory you give it. So if you don't set that value, it won't know where to put it. So the default location is something you put fish, t-repos dir. All of my repositories on my hard drive, all of them are in this folder. So for the sake of the way the feature is going to work, that's the way it's going to work. And this isn't set by default. We could add that feature, but I'm coming up at 2 hours on stream, so I'm going to call it a day here soon. But you could absolutely add a flag that says, when I give you this flag, you're going to do this with it. So I need it for cloning by CDing into that directory first before cloning, and then the result needs to be the path of the repository directory and then the name of the repo. So for work, if you had a separate thing, then you would do this, right? Work dir t-r, URL. If you did this kind of thing, I don't see why it wouldn't be super simple. The only thing is right now the binary script isn't very, the bash script isn't very good at, like, if we were to change the order of multiple arguments with flags, it's not like programmatically picking all that up easily. I think I would need a better set of tooling. But if you wrapped this thing up in some sort of alias or abbreviation or something, then yeah, you would say specifically I want to do this feature with that thing. Yeah, so that's your workaround. That's totally your workaround. Maybe I mentioned that in the README. Or maybe it's always my default. You could technically get away with always calling this without having to set it. Simply run that. I prefer, if you want to overwrite the default directory, the clone to, you can overwrite the tdir variable before running the command. This would work. So it'd be like test default rules equals my custom dir. My dog is so lazy right now. So lazy. So I think that helps clarify things. Like that's pretty straightforward. So we say docs instructions for overwriting repos dir. All right, so then that's that. If not inside, from my testing, it seems to be all right. It seems to be working as expected. I guess we can try a quick test on that feature we just discussed to make sure it actually does it. So if I say, do this thing, but make repos dir equal, I don't know, downloads. I think I might have screwed myself up there. Repos, RMRF tmux list. Downloads, there you go. I am all, it's a her, she is very lazy. Once I start talking to her, she pays attention. She's like, oh, what's up? I think I just screwed up my keyboard. All right, here we go. I'm feeling good about this feature. It's not perfect, but it is one of those things that as long as it doesn't break everything else, I'm a squash and merge guy. So we're going to say feature add R flag for quickly cloning new repos. I've done some tests. We fixed some edge cases. We're at the top of the hour here at 2 hours. I think I'm gonna go ahead and squash it. I'm gonna go to bed here in a couple hours, so you guys can tell me if I broke everything and blame me for all of your problems. That's fine. Just bill my therapist, your therapist. Send the bill to me. It's all right. And we're just going to draft a new release, and we're going to call this V280. And this is basically going to be quick repo cloning. And feels good to close an issue. Feels real good. And then I'm going to leave that open for now. Quick repo cloning. I guess it's going to just be the README. I tend to just copy everything from the README. That's what I usually end up doing. Let's see. See the README for full instructions. So then that becomes this guy. And then I have how to install, how to use, extra features, cloning. So that's this guy. README for full instructions. Briefly, you can call I guess I'll just keep my dude. Thank you. You and I were in sync today. I cloned something and I was like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to go to my repos directory and run a git clone command and then cd into that project and then I have, a tmux session. It felt silly that I had to go through so many steps. I wasn't thinking I had to do some sort of fancy shell magic, which granted, we wrote shell scripts today, but I mean, adding it to this seemed simple enough, And so for me, it's like, go to the repo, copy the .git thing, and then TP is what I ended up setting it to. So I just hit TP and it just boop, everything happens in 3 characters. When instead it was like mental gymnastics. It was literally mental gymnastics just to get it going. Well, I don't know about you. I'm curious where you're at with this, but when I use the session manager, repos shows up so far down the list typically because I don't ever go to the repos directory as a session, only maybe for this reason. And only today has it gone up in ranking because of me trying to build this feature. But now I could potentially remove it as an entry from the session manager because there's not a whole lot of reason for me to ever actually be there. You wanted to do a fish function. I mean, yeah, but it's nice when all your tooling comes together and is in one place. The other thought in the near future, which could be another feature, is that in the pop-up, I could paste in a URL and hit enter and it do the same feature. But that requires a bit more detection. Yeah, so you're doing the same thing as me, and it's a lot of steps for something that doesn't have to be. And in 2 hours, we have now taken something that was 5 steps and made it 2 steps, or 6 steps and made it 2 steps, 2 easy steps. You repo git or for short. All right, so we've got t-r pb paste. But I'm convinced lately that in using my plugin more and more every day that there's no reason to have a tmux session for anything but a specific folder that's related to my computer. And that sort of hyper-focused contextualization and like opinionation on tmux session creation makes it so that I don't have to think about it at all. Like my brain doesn't think about, well, what is the session? Where should it go? What should it be named? What did I call it? Like none of that matters. So we can definitely integrate it, I think, into... but the thing is, you can reach for a terminal pretty easily. If you're copying something, I don't know, it's a good introduction. But yes, it would be nice, perhaps, to add it as something that gets supported in the pop-up. But now that the code has been figured out today, we could extend it. For sure, we can extend it. Oh, great question. Henry, yes. This is a browser called Arc. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's right now it's Mac OS. They're opening up. Is it Linux too? I think it's Mac OS only. They're opening up a beta program for Windows. It's a free browser. It's Chromium based. So I have like browser extensions that are Chrome based are all here, and it uses these things called spaces. So beyond just this is my live stream. So when I'm live streaming, I have these links that I build and work on during live stream, but I have like one for my YouTube channel. And so like I have like my Twitch and my YouTube channel, and I have for social media. Look at this. I have all these social medias all in one place. For 3D printing, I have a bunch of 3D printing stuff. And so I can switch to the context I'm working on. And the context lets me manage tabs. And at the top section here, it's pinned. And at the bottom section, these are like things that can expire, basically. But they have some cool features, like if you pin things, AI will automatically rename it. It happened quickly, but that's pretty cool. You can hover over links. How do I do it? You can hover over links. I need to actually go to like google.com. Ugh, white. and you can hold shift and it can give you a preview of the site before you go to it. So they got some cool bells and whistles. What I really like is Command T is like a command palette. Super, super cool. The auto rename thing, you can disable it, which is good. So these AI features are like extras. All right, quick repo cloning. If you want to see this feature built, the live stream. All right, a little inception here for a moment. Hold on to your hats. Hold on. Oh, I just heard myself. That was weird. Nice. Kind of fun to be able to say that, hey, this thing got built. Well, I don't think I have audio being fed into you guys. That's on purpose. My computer audio is not being sent to stream. All right. Is it a pre-release? No. Is it the latest release? Yes. I'm actually curious if anyone updates now. Pre-publishing and post-publishing. I need to figure this out. So I have it here as main. If I update all, it does fetch the change. Okay, so even without a release, it will still pull it in. Interesting. Look, I've been playing around with someone else's session plugin too. This is Omar's. There should be a URL here. Interesting. Doesn't see it. Okay. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Publish release. Yay, I'm going to party my own. All right. So here it is. It is now live. We went ahead and we pulled the plug and we shipped a feature at 9:00 p.m. So that's it for me, chat. This was fun. I'm guessing, Ian, you like are waking up in the morning and in Australia, and you're just coming to you're just coming to join us later on when you're alert. I will probably post this tomorrow. So we're going to post on social. We're going to talk about this thing. So this is Obsidian. I got a video coming out at some point on some of my Obsidian stuff, but it's keeping me productive. This was fun, chat. Thanks for coming. A lot of you stuck around the whole time, which I really, really appreciate that. Ian, Steve was here. Jersey's been here. 911 came in for a little while. Default was here at the beginning. I don't know if you're still here, Default. Default's always here. We got a couple new people. Some people from the conference were joining us today. From NeoVimConf, they were watching me there and came in and said hello. So this is a fun stream. This is good. I like starting a stream, having an idea, and finishing the stream with the idea done. It feels pretty good to ship code in 2 hours. So that's it for me. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys. I'll probably be around next Wednesday. So be on the lookout for the next stream. Bye.